All right, everyone. Welcome once again. It is Friday, and what does that mean? It means it is manufacturing e-commerce success. And oh, are we filled with holiday cheer here?
Yes,
I'm
we are.
I'm one of your co-hosts, Damon Postolka, and that handsome guy right over there in the Santa hat is Kurt Anderson, and Kurt's going to take it away.
Damon, happy Friday, brother, man. It's already like, what is it, December 9th already? Something like that.
I know.
Whitney's already done with her Christmas shopping. So I'm
I
not
heard that
how many
last week.
shopping
Oh,
days
my
are
goodness.
left, But hey, guys, Bob Feathers is here. Dan Bigger,
Yeah.
Dan, we're on time today, dude. So happy Friday, everybody. Man, we have a blockbuster today. Damon, no fooling around. Like, we're going to dive right into
Gotta
this.
get going.
We have a ton to cover. What an honor. What a privilege. This is a repeat guest here, Damon. I'm not sure how many times, but man, it's never enough having Kris Harrington on the show. Kris, my friend, happy Friday. How are you?
Oh, hello. I am wonderful. I love intros like that. Can you guys just go with me wherever I go? That's just so nice to hear. It's so good to see you guys.
We'll be your entourage. We'll be like the backup singers, Kris. Like so. We'll think, I don't know, Damon. That might be for another time. But all right, guys. Happy Friday. We're here with Kris Harrington, the president, co-founder of GenAlpha Technologies. Man, she's not a secret to anybody here. So, but if you're not familiar with Kris, if you're new to us, boy, please drop a note in the chat box. We'd love to know that you're here. Love to connect with you. Most importantly, we want you to connect with our dear friend Kris Harrington from GenAlpha Technologies. Kris, we're going to cover a ton. Now, I know you're a repeat guest. We've been on here. You've been on here multiple times. Boy, we geek out hard together. We have so much respect, admiration. Damon, I like Googled wonderful, and I had to go to the thesaurus to like get the whole list of everything that we would say about Kris, man.
Yeah.
She was amazing, integrity, authentic, fun, funny, wonderful, amazing, just a blessing to all of us in the manufacturing e-commerce community. Kris, my first question for you today, my friend.
Okay.
How did this person become so wonderful? So as a little girl growing up, who was your hero? Who was your hero growing up as a little girl that just brought this wonderful Kris Harrington to us in our world?
Oh, what a great question. And I feel the same way about both of you. So it's right back at you. But I cannot select one. I will select two because they are my grandmothers. Major influences in my life. Two women who fought for everything that they had with love and grit and resilience, and just really loved me, made sure that I knew in the world that I was cared for and that I was capable. And they were definitely my shining light. I would say I was lucky enough to have two in a really good relationship with both. We called one Milwaukee grandma and one up north grandma. So we were either heading up north to see one, or Milwaukee was here with us all the time. So They were definitely my heroes.
Well, awesome. What a great answer. And so God bless grandmas. And how about names? What was Grandma Milwaukee's? What was her name?
Agnes.
Agnes. And how about up north? What was Grandma up north?
Margaret.
Hey,
neither of them liked their names. I don't know if that's something just traditionally with older women. I've never really asked, but I know that neither one of my grandmas like their names, but they really like to be called grandma for sure.
Awesome. All right. So we've got Grandma up north. We've got Grandma Milwaukee. Absolutely love it. Great answer. Man, we got chat boxes going. Kristina.
Yeah, it is.
She says it's like being on Letterman. And Dan, thank you. He's reminding me to breathe. I get a little worked up. I get a little excited when we have these wonderful guests. Bob says WWW. You know what? Let's go right there, Kris. I was going to save that for later. Let's just dig right in. The Wild Women of Wisconsin, WWW. Let's talk about the broadcast. I was going to save that towards the end of our conversation. Let's go there right now. Our dear friend, Damon, Lori Hybe. We have Aaron Courtney. Boy, just two rock star friends of yours. You guys have come together and you have a great podcast called The Broadcast. How did this whole thing come about? And talk about your new exciting broadcast.
Yeah, well, I think you were probably one of the links that brought us all together. So, we have to thank you for that. The Wild Women of Wisconsin, even though we're all in the same state, we may not have come across as early as we did without you. But it was interesting, we had all kind of heard about each other. We had individual one-on-ones, and we were interested in doing a show about co-opetition. So we decided that there were some interesting conversations that we thought that there were to be had out there. So we recorded a few episodes, and one of them was about this co-opetition, that people could actually come together and learn from each other and grow together. And maybe in some situations you might be competing, but really in the end, you're all making each other better. You're making the world better. You're giving better information to the community so that they can make new and better decisions. So we did those first 3 episodes and we had a blast. We enjoyed it so much. It had a good response. And we said, let's turn this into something more. So we release 2 episodes a month. It is called A Broadcast for Manufacturers. It's 3 broads. And we talk to all kinds of different guests about the manufacturing industry. So yesterday we recorded an episode with Matthew Brody. Very interesting gentleman. He helps entrepreneurs basically turn their ideas into reality. I won't tell you too much more. That's going to be a show that will be released in January. But we're having a lot of fun, meeting a lot of different people. And we're the 3 wild women of Wisconsin because we're all located here in Wisconsin.
Well, there's a lot of manufacturing, a lot of passion going on in Wisconsin. So there's no surprise. And again, Lori Hybe, just wonderful, fierce marketer. She's a great hockey player right in Milwaukee. Erin she's with Earthling Interactive, great e-commerce firm. And again, today we're going to take a deep dive into GenAlpha. I'm a raving fan of what you do. Your amazing team at GenAlpha. Before I go there real quick, I know you've been on the program a few times and we've covered this. I'm going to hit it again for new folks out there. You are a hero to me. You served our country proudly. Kris, can you talk a little bit about, so you had great grandma, Milwaukee was a wonderful influence. You had grandma up north was a great influence. Talk to us a little bit about your path of serving our country and then how you led into your corporate career.
Sure. Well, it's interesting. I'll start a little bit before entering the U.S. Navy. And that was that I was a student athlete in high school. Nice. And in our local area here in Wisconsin, as you mentioned, there's a lot of manufacturing here in Wisconsin. But there's a manufacturer, W.H. Brady Company, who each year awarded 1 female and 1 male student athlete who's a senior with a banquet and a dinner. And they called them the Athlete of the Year. That was an award that they gave. So I got to have this fantastic meal inside a manufacturing environment, and Coach K was our speaker. Oh, so this is how many years ago? Let's not count the years, but Coach K was from Duke, was the speaker, and I'm a basketball fan. I played basketball at the time, so this was huge for me.
Wow.
So I got to sit in a manufacturing environment, and at that time, I kind of felt like manufacturing chose me. So I'll bring that up later in the story.
Yeah.
So then, I decided to take the non-traditional route. I did not go off to university directly after high school. Actually, I worked in a warehouse in a manufacturing company for a little while. And then I went off to serve in the U.S. Navy, and I was a machinist mate. I studied here in Great Lakes, Illinois. I had a mixed gender boot camp in Orlando. When I did my boot camp, I was stationed in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii.
Wow.
And then I also lived in Norfolk, Virginia for a little while. And when I came back, it was time for me to figure out what I was going to do. And I just remembered that this manufacturing company had chose me before. Maybe they would choose me again. And I went and applied. And so I started working. I was a CNC operator. I worked 3rd shift. I worked 2nd shift. So I've been around manufacturing, so before I ever went to get my education and start as a financial analyst, then hired by Bucyrus International, I've had all of these opportunities to really be in a warehouse, be on a ship, fixing boilers and, doing different safety tests and, lockout, tagout, and all of the different things that you learn. Again, these are very many years ago, but as you get me talking about it, I just kind of think about that history. So when I finally did go to Marquette University and I got my education, that's when I applied for an in-office position. I started working for a company called Bucyrus International. So if you guys aren't familiar with Bucyrus, we were a large mining equipment manufacturer. We manufactured equipment that was used globally in mines. I had an opportunity to live and work in Canada, Brazil, Peru, and I traveled to so many countries throughout my career, really working in the aftermarket area and helping to sell equipment. And we were acquired by Caterpillar. So the Caterpillar acquisition was, pretty big for us at the time. It was the largest and still is the largest acquisition that Caterpillar ever made. And Caterpillar was kind of already going down an e-commerce path. They had designed something and had a strategy. Of course they would. They're a very large organization. They know that they need to meet the needs of their dealers and customers. So they were working on something. But we also had these plans back at Bucyrus International that we never got to roll out. We just had built a business case and we had these ideas that we had put together, but we had never implemented them. And, Caterpillar was moving down their path. So we all rolled into the Caterpillar organization, had different careers. But one day we said, is there something in that idea we had at Bucyrus that might be valuable for other aftermarket teams and equipment manufacturers? And that's what led us to founding GenAlpha and what brings me here today. So if that's the backstory, hopefully I did it in a short period of time. It's a lot.
Awesome.
That's a story. We're sticking to it, man. All right, Damon, let's unpack a few things right there. All right. First off, a couple of people out there. Diane is with us today. Diane, happy Friday. Ingor is here today. Happy Friday to you. We've got Whitney, Bob, Dan, anybody out there, boy, thank you for joining us today. Drop a note in the chat box. Let us know that you're there. Most importantly, boy, connect with Kris. I want to unpack a few things. So, Kris, basketball player, that was your sport? Is that what you said?
Yeah, well, soccer and basketball.
Soccer and basketball.
Awesome.
All right. Well, who knew, Damon? Did you know not only all these other amazing things about Kris Harrington, superstar athlete, and that little new information here. So, what a great story, Coach K.
Yeah.
So you're rock star athlete. Appreciate your humility. Thank you for sharing that with us. Coach K is your speaker. It's at a manufacturer, and you are hooked. You go off and serve our country proudly, served all over Pearl Harbor, Virginia, all over the place. Then you take on a corporate career with manufacturing. You've served, once again, all over the country or all over the world, literally all over the world. And so you guys come together. There's like a little this pack of rock stars, right? And you look at each other and say, is there a solution or an opportunity? Kris, take us there. If somebody's out there like, hey, I would love to launch my entrepreneurial journey. You had, you're a civil servant, served our country, corporate career. That's a big leap of faith going into entrepreneurship, man. Entrepreneurship is not for the weary, right?
Yes.
What was it like when you walk us through that step? And then we're going to take a deep dive into GenAlpha, but talk to us about when you stepped away from the corporate umbrella and the steady paycheck, walk us through, what was that like?
Yeah. Well, I think, certainly for me, I was surrounded by an amazing team, and, who knows if I would have ever done it had I not been with that amazing team. I am a co-founder. There were other founders that I was surrounded by, and these were people that, I don't know, I'm sure this is true and I know it's true in just the manufacturing environment in general, but then you reduce it to mining, and these people that you work with, they are as important to you as your family. So you build trust, right? There's just so much trust. There's compassion for what you do. All of us did time in the aftermarket, and I say did time because sometimes it can be a thankless position. Anybody out there, I understand. Nobody's happy, right? People need parts and components because a machine is down. It needs to get back up and running. It needs to produce. Yeah. In mining, shovel down could be $100,000 lost an hour on average.
Yeah.
So we just went through battle together, and we celebrated the wins. We fought through the harder times to make change or do different things. So I really think that surrounding yourself with a good team or having a good community around you, maybe not everybody is going to be building something that requires more than a single individual. Maybe you are the single individual, but I would definitely tell you to be networking with a community that Damon and Kurt have built, to feel that love and to be surrounded by people who want to lift you. Because I think belief is the only way you're going to turn an idea into something that you can actually sell. You have to have passion behind it. And still, selling is the most challenging thing you're going to do in your business, is to get somebody to buy your idea. I can say that it was a lot easier on the aftermarket side because people owned our equipment. They were operating it out in the field. They needed parts from us, so they were calling, right? When we started GenAlpha, nobody was calling. So we had to surround ourselves with people that could help us navigate through that. So, I think I'm covering on a few of the different topics, but really in a technology company, you have to take your technology idea and build it into something that works. And that was something new for me. To have a product that's digital and it's operating in Wi-Fi, and you can't touch it other than touching your keyboard and moving through different things on a keyboard or a mouse or your phone with your finger, right? That's a very different thing than building a product in the factory floor where I can take people for a tour and they can see me building all of the different pieces and components and parts and assemblies that are going to build this thing that that blasts in the mine or whatever it is. So you have to go through the diligence of defining exactly the scope of what you're trying to create. And remember to take baby steps. You are not going to, what do they say? Eat the elephant all at once, right? Yes. You have to, I don't know that that's a really good description, but, take the baby steps, test your product, and then bring a next feature, a next enhancement. And we've kind of been doing that for the last 11 years. So surround yourself with good people, believe in the product that you're going to create, that it can help people, because that passion is going to take you. Know that there is truly a problem that you can solve. And then, be iterative about the process of building the solution or the service that you're trying to create for others. You don't have to do it all at once. Those would be some of my tips and learnings.
So when I know we just got, there's so much. I write notes long way, and it's like,
just all right. Hey, just savor that for like one. All right, Kris, dude, drop the mic like half a dozen times right there, right, Damon? So I didn't.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, because we're gonna pause there, Kris, because we have quite a few things to unpack. I noticed. It sounds like we're glitching. If we're glitching,
I'm dropping the YouTube link in the post here too.
We're over on YouTube, because man, like you do not want to miss more.
But
brilliant.
Yeah, so there's a bunch there. Oh God, like you said, where do we start? But I'm gonna drop the link to the YouTube right here, and I think we should be. Let me see if I can get it here, and. But back again, building a digital product when you're used to physical products, how big of a deal was that? Getting used to that. I mean, the process, the whole, because they're back behind coding, right? And you can't see anything.
Well, yeah. And I was a person that, if my computer didn't turn on, I called the help desk. I turned it off, I turned it on, and I was calling the help desk like, I don't know, something's not working. So, if I can do it, anybody can do it. But
and by the way, she's now president of a cutting edge e-commerce company. So guys, all right. God, Kris, we have so much to cover.
I know.
But if you feel like, man, I just don't know, like, look what the humility, Kris, like I had to turn my computer on and off. She's now the president of a cutting edge e-commerce firm. Kris, please continue.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
that had to be something.
It is. I mean, we have a great technology partner too that we worked with that helped us. They had to help us, and we had some learnings. When I guess again, similar to a product that's physical, you have bugs, right? Sometimes things don't work or they break. Well, and that's what happens in technology, is that you mean to add the part to your cart, and when you get to the cart, additional information is supposed to appear as well. And maybe that additional information doesn't appear. So then you have to go back and you have to write a note that the expectation is, the user experience. So I had to start writing, and our whole team had to learn to describe things from a user experience perspective. And this is all agile. So we use agile methodology in our development here at GenAlpha. So we had to all get really comfortable with agile and learn how to write agile stories so we could describe the user experience and then go back and test. And, and every implementation we have has a QA environment where we do testing. It has a UAT environment where our customers have user acceptance area where they get to test. And then we have the production environment. So we're managing 3 environments for our clients to make sure that it's always performing at 99% availability, right? So we had to learn all of this.
Yeah. It's so different. It's so different.
It's
apples
different.
and oranges. So here you spent a career selling product, massive products, and now you're going to technology. Who was your first customer?
Our first customer was Millicron, and they are still our customer today. Plastic injection molding machine manufacturer. They have machinery all over the United States. Injection molding machinery is very popular. You probably wouldn't even realize how many different places are using those tools to create products that we come into contact with every day. So they invested in and believed in our product and our solution, and they were the first customer.
Cool.
Okay, I'm going to slide off. I'm going to go a little different direction here, Damon, for 1 minute, and I'm going off script, Kris. I want to talk to you about leadership. Okay. So again, man, my respect, admiration for you. Every time we talk, it just grows and blossoms. You're just such a gift to us. So great athlete. So again, I'm sure you had great coaches. You had, if you guys missed it, we had Grandma Milwaukee, Grandma up north, great heroes, leaders, kind of paved the path, showered you with love. I'm sure you had to have great teammates, wonderful coaches. You got, Coach K spoke at your event. Yeah. I'm sure, you go into the military. I'm sure you had great leadership and mentors, corporate career mentors. I now view you as just a great leader. Respect and admire you. I follow your posts. I'm like, you give such a great positive energy to everybody. Talk to us a little bit about what's contributed, what's helped you be a better leader as you're leading the charge on e-commerce for manufacturers with GenAlpha. Who and what kind of is molded and helped your leadership style?
Well, thank you for that. That was very, very kind. Well, again, it's been the people around me, but I will say I have had this real desire to help manufacturers. Mm-hmm. So I believe we are in a new phase, right? Mm-hmm. There's a shift. When I was in manufacturing, what is available today wasn't available. It just wasn't the way that we operate. It wasn't the expectation. It wasn't the need because we didn't know that it was available or it wasn't quite yet available. And I truly believed, I believe today a shift is occurring. And if we don't do something to advance, a lot of companies are going to get left behind.
Yep.
And, I can rattle off some facts, like 72% of our current customers are already on their 2nd or 3rd generation of a solution. So they're replatforming, right? They have they already decided to do this many years ago, and they've upgraded now to our solution. So they're already doing the next iterations. And these larger companies are going to keep eating up the smaller ones if they don't keep their market share. They don't fight for their position. They don't get a chance to demonstrate the value that they bring to the world if they don't implement these solutions to keep themselves relevant. So I almost feel, so I can tell you that because we were thinking about this so many years at Bucyrus, we never believed it would take this long for people to adopt this type of technology. I would say about 80% of our pipeline today is filled with manufacturers who have never done e-commerce, right? So, and some of them we've been talking to for multiple years, and they still haven't pulled the trigger. Now, they have their reasons. There are priorities and investments and costs that, we've had COVID and we've had other things. But the reality is it's time and we have choice to make, right? And I have felt personally that I'm on a mission right now to tell people that this is coming and it's serious. And if we don't get it together, we're going to have a smaller group of companies that we're all doing business from that are building and inventing and creating our products. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't want a world where it's smaller numbers of companies. I want anybody who has that dream to be able to go after it. And I think technology enables that. So, I mean, that's just one piece on my soapbox of things I could talk about. But, I want to help manufacturing leaders. So that's where my passion comes in. That's why we have such a talented team at GenAlpha, because they all care about the manufacturer, from our sales team members to our customer success team members to our engineering team members. Everybody cares about this industry. We don't bring them in if they don't have a desire to help meet the needs of this specific industry. So that's what I can say about that.
All right. We're just savoring that for a moment.
Yep.
That was just, man. All right. I've never done this before, Damon. I've never done this before. Everybody, let's give a round of applause for Kris.
Yeah,
right in the middle of the program. Right.
I was like going, woo!
Done. We're like, dude,
Back at all of you.
The party's just starting. Kris, Damon, a month ago, dude, like, you changed my life. We had a guy in our program. You know where I'm going to go, Don Schmicky. And Don came on our program, and he's like a global leader, keynote speaker. He's consulted with 30,000, CEOs. And he talks about what he found where so many companies were struggling with their whole strategic plan. It wasn't really strategic. It was tactical. Kris, what you just described was what Don described to a T. He said the number one thing that he found, and he went back and studied like ancient history, Vikings, and like he's traveled the world starting
in South America
on why people lead and why people, like, certain companies succeed, certain industries, certain people, certain tribes, why they succeed. He had one word: the saga. That was two words. Saga. How's that, Damon? So you had to create a saga, and Kris, you just nailed it. You just described Kris Harrington's saga, the team at GenAlpha, their saga. It's not about the e-commerce solution. It's about helping manufacturers be more competitive, make their lives easier, and not just her clients.
Business.
It's her clients' clients. Yesterday, Dave Belay, our dear friend, Dr. David Belay, the director from IMEC, the MEP in Illinois, shared a post on LinkedIn. It was an article from Forbes, and it said top 3 trends for 2023. The author wrote the third thing for 2023: digital marketing, transformation, e-commerce, whatever you want to call it, is no longer a nice to have for manufacturing. He said it is mission critical. Kris, we applaud you. We support you. We love you. Thank you for what you're doing to help change manufacturers. Let's go into GenAlpha. Okay, man. One of my favorite words is what, Kris? Configurators, right?
Yes.
So for folks that aren't they're new to GenAlpha or your solutions, the saga that you're creating, talk to us about the aftermarket, e-commerce, configurators. Talk to us about these solutions and how you're helping make the world a better place at GenAlpha.
Sure. So maybe the best way to describe it is, first, that GenAlpha has designed and developed a software technology that enables digital self-service for equipment manufacturing customers. So it supports them on their aftermarket purchases. It supports them with critical information about the machinery. It can help them with purchasing maintenance contracts. So when you talk about product configurators, often people think about just using a product configurator to build a whole good. A product configurator absolutely can be used to design, go through the equipment options and build a piece of equipment or machinery or a full component or something like a box that needs to be placed on something else, right? So we can niche down to lots of different ways that it's used, but it can also be used to build a maintenance contract. It can be used to build an extended warranty, right? So it's really just about options. So what we have created is this digital self-service solution. So when a customer purchases a piece of equipment from any company that we do business with, they can log in to the manufacturer's website. So sometimes it's used as a dealer portal. Sometimes it's used as a customer portal. Sometimes it's public facing, but they come in, they can see the exact equipment that they own, and they can dive into finding the exact parts that they need to keep their equipment running, whether that's an oil change kit for one of our lawnmowers outside, right? Or if it's something more critical, like the engine has failed and there is some instructional messaging that needs to be gone through. Maybe it's a video to be watched to really understand what's happening and take you through some steps. So they can do that with our product. And then once they purchase products, they can check order history. They can see the status of their order. So has it shipped? Is it going to ship? When's it going to ship? All that transparency that we want, in today's world where, shipping is such a challenge to get your products on time. And you certainly do not want to delay when a machine is standing. Customers can log in and get access to that information. They can reorder. They can pay invoices. So when we talk about digital self-service, right, it's doing everything without talking to a person. It's being able to go online when I don't need a person, right? So there are times when we need people. I certainly need a dealer to change the lip on my plow that's going to plow the snow we're getting outside. So when that wears, I want to go to my dealer for that. But when I want an oil change kit for my same Polaris unit, I'm a do-it-yourselfer. I want to order that online. I want to know when it's coming so I can plan my weekend to make sure that I change my oil. And I don't need to talk to anybody for that. All I need to know is that Polaris is written on the side of my ATV out in my garage, and I have an XYZ model, and I want to know what oil change kit fits. Yep. That's what we help manufacturers do. So for the things that you don't need a person, and a lot of people, I don't have my cell phone near me right now, but we are so accustomed to getting information at our fingertips. That's what people want to do. If I'm in my garage and I'm just reminded, I need to change the oil. Let me order that oil change kit. I just want to go right on my phone and look at everything. That's the way we need to be thinking about how our customers want to do business with us.
Yeah, because when you look at your customers, they're not, a lot of them are not sitting in front of a computer that like we are today. They're in the field. Right. They're in the field. If you can make it easy to order on a phone, this is a good thing, because you're going to make a lot of those people, the critical people that have to keep the equipment running. You're going to make them happy, because now you're the go-to source, because, hey, I needed something. I ordered on my phone. It showed up tomorrow. The next day. How incredible is that? I didn't even have to go back to the office, or I did it. That's just, when you can do that, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, if you guys were coming over, we went over the top of the hour. If you're just joining us, man, we are here with Kris Harrington, the co-founder and president of GenAlpha Technologies. Man, are we having a great conversation. If you miss anything, you've got to go back and catch a replay. Hey, Damon, Gail's here today. Gail, happy Friday. Whitney, and again, anybody else out there, drop us a note. You absolutely want to connect with Kris. Kris, we're talking about digital self-serve. Okay. Did an amazing job explaining that. And so for folks that like this new term, as a matter of fact, it's relatively new to me and you. I think you and I were somewhere. We're like, we're using that term all the time. I love that term. And so what, Damon, what you and I always preach, how can we help that ideal buyer make a buying decision on a Friday night at midnight without having you to open up your door on Monday morning? Okay, and basically that's what we're talking about. How can you let that ideal buyer just come on your website? They can either place an order, they can get information, they can watch a how-to video, they can configure their own product. That's exactly what Kris and the team at GenAlpha are providing, is that 24-hour sales service. And really, Kris, I'm curious to hear, you're taking a lot of that simplistic customer service functionality, getting that on the website, make it easier for the customer. It's a lot of things that your sales rep or customer service people are probably repeating over and over and over again. Get them on the website. So then by the time they do pick up the phone or drop you an email, they're like so far down the road in the buying process. Is that kind of what you're finding with your clients?
Yeah, absolutely. So, what happens is that just as you mentioned, field techs use our solutions out in the field. Sometimes it might be a dealer tech who's out in the bay and they have a piece of equipment that just rolled in and it needs some maintenance. So the dealer might be using the manufacturer's website, and what they'll take the serial number or the VIN for that unit that just rolled in, and they're going to go online. One of the first things they might check is that vehicle still under warranty, right? So if the service work I'm going to do, is that something I should be filing a warranty claim for and giving my customer some benefit? So, we've introduced warranty and RMA into our solution as well. So dealers can check, is that unit still under warranty? And if yes, they can do the work. They can order the parts all under a warranty claim. They can file their labor that they're going to do. But essentially what they're doing is they're taking that serial number, they're going into the complete bill of material for that unit, and they're looking at hot spotted images of the assembly, and they're able to pick out the exact component for that vehicle that rolled in, right? So whether that's a vacuum truck or it's a sweeper, these are the types of companies we work with. We work with fire truck manufacturers. So, all kinds of manufacturers. We talked about the injection molding machine. They all have these big machinery that typically had an operator's manual and a parts manual that went with it when it was purchased. But that becomes obsolete so fast because things are changing in the world all the time. Part numbers are changing, obsolescence, supersession, upgrades take place. We provide a solution that gives customers the exact data for their machine as it pertains to that machine today. So that's what we're doing.
I don't want to put you on the spot. And now you are doing a really cool thing. So when folks come on, it's always so wonderful to see visual, right? It's one thing if I tell you about this wonderful trip I took, but if I show you, bore you to death with my pictures, it's a different story, right? I want to put you on the spot. Would you be comfortable? Could you go through a little demo? And now I want to give a shout out to you and your team at GenAlpha. You're also doing a great little in the spirit for holiday season, you're donating funds for every demo that a company goes through. You are donating funds. Do you want to share about that? And then are you comfortable pulling up your screen? I would love to take a look at what you've got going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for mentioning that. So we are Feeding America for the holidays. And we have a campaign going on that for every demo that we do throughout the holidays, we are donating $100 to Feeding America. And, if you guys aren't familiar with Feeding America, they're awesome. They're feeding children and families. $1 provides 4 meals. So we're giving $100 for every demo we do. So if you know somebody, if you love someone, if they need to see a demo of our solution, if they need to learn about digital self-service, get them in contact with us. We can both do some good this season. We get to donate the $100. We'll get to show them through a solution. And I'm happy to, I can kind of.
And I'm sorry, Kris, while you pulled it up, we've got a couple comments here. I don't want to overlook. So Diane dropped a nice comment here. She just made 2 purchases last week. One came the next day, one took a week. I found myself getting annoyed that the second one, it's like, we had those expectations of like, Amazon really set the bar high. And so whether they did or not, they've made our lives easier. How easy is it to buy on Amazon? And we expect it at the door the next day. Unfortunately, as consumers, whether it's B2B or B2C, we have that same expectation. And so, hey, Nicole Donnelly is here
Nicole's
today.
Here. Yeah.
Nicole, happy Friday, my friend. Drop a note here. So, Kris, let's dig into let's take a look at what you've got. Go on, Damon.
And, from doing this for years in the manufacturing plants and, not huge ones, but when you're actually going, the maintenance people need a little help. So we got to get on the phone and order something once in a while. Back when I was doing engineering work, I mean, to be able to do what you can do, to do this online and just to do it easily by picking out, okay, that's the valve we need.
Right.
Because you talk about molding machines, and that's where I started out my career. And there are certain things on those machines that if that stops, the whole thing ends and we need them quick. And to be able to get online and just go, I need that with your mouse and not worry about it. And not worry about the numbers and all the things. I can't tell you how many hours this saves maintenance people in the field by having to call up and decide what they really need. It's just crazy.
Perfect story stuff. And a great lead into exactly what I'd love to show. Can you guys see my screen okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect.
All right. So I'll walk you through a process just like Damon was talking about, and also, that vehicle that rolled into a dealer's bay. So what can happen here on our, on a manufacturing website using our Equip 360 solution is they can search by that serial number. That's what I'm doing here in the search.
Yeah.
And that unique vehicle is going to come up. And what we help manufacturers do is we repurpose their bills of materials, their 2D and 3D information, and their technical publications documents to make it live and digital for customers. So we like to think of it as the safest place to find what you're looking for. And right now we're looking at this garbage truck, right? So if a waste management company owns this truck, and I can guarantee you throughout municipalities all over the country, we have vehicles like this that operate every day, right?
Yep.
And we want them operating because we want our garbage picked up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as a world, we have certain even expectations that if vehicles like this continue to operate. Well, mechanically things can wear, they can break. There's repairs that go on with these vehicles, and there's maintenance that goes on. So inside this bill of material, manufacturers can load videos like I talked about. So they could have an assembly or a disassembly instructional video. They can access any documentation or information that would be critical. So this is where they can store warranty documentation, wiring schematics, an operator's manual, a parts manual. If they wanted a physical version, all of that would be here. But now imagine, again, back in this vehicle that they're looking for Cummins. Let's pick up the hydraulic tank that's in the power module section. And there's something in this area of the machine that is having a problem. So the dealer's looking at it and they need to pick up some of the components and replace them, right? Any of these fittings that would need to be replaced. They can easily, through this, image, and it's so much easier to describe what we do when I'm using images than just talking about it, because this makes it really easy for a customer to find what they're looking for. It will communicate to a manufacturer's ERP system, so it will easily pull either a customer or a dealer price. It will show them how much is available, and they can add that item to their shopping cart, and then they can continue shopping. And since they're here and they're seeing all the parts that they need, they could order all of these fittings that they might need for this job. And maybe, so they're not just buying the one thing, they might buy more. And that's typically when we talk about the increase in the average order value. That's typically what happens. The manufacturer may even recommend a kit that goes with these. So that's a possibility, all with this tool. While I'm here, I just wanted to also show you that we convert 3D information as well. So if a manufacturer has this information in 3D, we can support them in the images, zooming in. Imagine if you're in Mexico, or you're in Brazil, where they speak Portuguese, and maybe you don't have a customer service person who speaks Portuguese. So, this makes it so much easier for that person to find the components that they might be looking for and need to get that unit back operational. So that's one section. That would be our bill of material catalog. Some of the other places that we talked about with respect to digital self-service that I just want to highlight here is everything in your order history. So, if you place orders, and what's really cool about integrating to an ERP system is that, let's say you placed 5 orders online and 1 order in the last week through the call center because there was something complicated you need to call in. Well, all your quotes, orders, invoices would be here. So you can check the status. Is my order open? Is it completed? Okay, this one's completed. Let's take a look. It looks like there were 2 line items on this one. It shipped on 12/6. I've got 1 invoice against it because it all shipped complete together. All my shipment information and tracking information is here. I can download the packing list. Again, things that you used to have to call somebody or email somebody to say, when is my product shipping? Has it hit the warehouse? Or when am I going to get it? All of that information would be here. Oh, and by the way, if they come back next week and the same components need to be ordered, they can simply reorder them. That would move them to the shopping cart, and it's going to give them current price and availability so that they can place their order easily without having to search for them. So lots of really self-service tips there. Or I should say easier ways to do business. This is our RMA section. So, I think in the world of returns, many people today in the commercial world or retail won't buy anything if they can't return it, right? Well, in our industry, it's a little bit more complicated because it's not always easy to just return a $25,000 part. It needs approval process. There's a workflow for that. So you can see here that there are certain statuses, but you have full access to any return, and you can start a new request for return for any returnable goods. Warranty management. So if you have filed warranty claims with your manufacturer and you're wondering the status of your warranty, has it been credited? All of that information is here. Filing a claim, looking up warranty terms. I mentioned some of these things in our discussion earlier. So this kind of just shows you easily how you do that. You can favorite parts, so if you come out to the site and you searched for something, you found it, and either maybe you're not ready to buy it yet, or you found it and you're going to need it again later, and maybe it's these brake calipers, you can favorite it to easily find it the next time. So you're not going through that search again. So you can favorite items. You can create subscription orders. So again, you don't have to call anybody to do any of this stuff. It's all done online today. And this is how we facilitate making it easier for customers to do business with us. Very visual, very easy to navigate. We talked about configurators. If you wanted to allow your customers to configure products, certainly you can have option selection. And again, we have a full admin suite, so our customers can manage and modify their configurators as they need to, as they develop something new or have new options. So if I want a sleeper cab, I want a blue one, and I make certain selections, you can see that my price is being calculated. There are rules that are running on the back end. I can easily configure product. And again, this can be used in so many different fashions, like we talked about earlier. You've got your summary. Oh, I've got a complete required field you see there. So there are notifications designed to make sure that it's easy for the customer to do this on their own. And you can turn this into an Excel document, a PDF. You can save this for later in case you're not ready to make the investment. But I think this gives you a high level overview of, you know, all of the things that our product is capable of.
Well,
all right.
David, yeah.
You got to pull up a couple of comments here real quick. So let's go from the bottom, and then we've got to work. Nicole, digital self-serve at its finest. We've got Ingor. I feel a moment of silence coming up. There was like multiple. You've got to scroll up a little bit. You got to grab Diane Byers' comment. If you go up a little bit further up, she drops a comment. Where was it? It was a way back. It was need to be mindful. If your competitors are winning in timing and service, you're at best coming in at second, and sales second is last place. Man, dude, talk about drop.
Yeah,
guys,
great.
All right, Kris, I'm gonna cover a couple things. I want to be mindful of everybody's time as we're coming to the bottom of the hour. First off, speechless, right? Like, all right. This video lives on Damon's YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, my website, Damon's website. We post it all over the place. If you guys are talking, all of you out there talking to manufacturers, and you just want to, we just got a quick little demo. Number one, Kris and her team, they're donating $100 to Feeding America. If any of your clients, Gail is here. Damon, you know what? I cannot, my heart's not the strongest. I'm like, I'm not a young man anymore. Like we had Gail on Monday, Kris Harrington on Friday, man. I better get to my, what do you call it? Cardiologist, whatever the doctor is. I don't know if I can handle this, but guys, we just covered a ton. What a great, amazing demo. If you're talking to a manufacturer out there and this is speaking their language, get a hold of Kris, connect with her on LinkedIn, get on that demo. It's a good cause, number one. But when I say good cause, we're Feeding America. But man, what a great cause, helping our manufacturers to be more competitive. How powerful is this? Kris, I want to be, Dan says, calm down. Dan, I can't calm down, dude. It's not my DNA to calm down.
We don't calm down. That's just not us.
Man, don't calm down.
Dude. Hey, Dan, I just talked to Dan earlier. What did you say? Hey, if you don't like it, go somewhere else, right? I can't control myself. So, all right, guys, Kris, as we wind down, parting thoughts on digital self-serve, any message for our manufacturers out there on how to just stay on top of the game?
Yeah, I would say it's always important to be talking to your customers. They're the ones that will tell you if they are expecting solutions like this. And you don't assume that you know your customers. That's something we've heard a lot is, oh, our customers want a relationship with you. But they don't want a relationship to check the status of their order. They don't need a relationship to get price and availability for the O-ring. They don't want a relationship to know the tracking information for the products that are coming. I'm sorry. They don't want that for that. They want you to be available when they do need to have a relationship with you, and they really want to talk to you because they have a complex need. We want you to be available as well. That's why you have to implement these solutions. This makes logical, good sense. You have ERP systems. You've been managing and investing in your ERP systems for years. All your item management, all your customer address and management stuff is there. You have tech pubs. You have 2D and 3D valuable information that's hiding. The world can't see it. We don't know what it is. We can't use it to help us do our job easier. We can't hold our phone next to the machine and find what we're looking for quickly. You're expecting that we're going to pick up the phone and call the service tech or call the customer service department, who's never seen the machinery, by the way. They've never been down on the floor. They don't know what that product looks like. They can't offer you a kit. They can't offer you other components because they don't know. They haven't been trained. Even they would be better served with tools like this, because if they're getting a call into the call center and they're looking for that O-ring and they're looking for another piece of hardware and they're putting it in the cart, they're going to see, oh, a kit is available for this. So they can offer the person on the phone the kit. So now they've become more effective and efficient at their job as well. So I'm telling you, don't get left behind. Your customers want a relationship with you, but not for everything. You've got to start looking at these solutions. And it's not as difficult as you think. You have been working on the tools that support this for many years. We want to enable the rest. So,
boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. That's all I'm
Your
saying.
customers, dude, the comment of 2022. Your customers don't want a relationship with you over the O-ring.
Yeah. Or to figure out your tracking or the,
Price on the O-ring.
oh,
Kris,
man.
that was all right. Damon, let's get a couple comments here. Tom, thank you for, man, what a great
Yeah.
group of
Tom
comments.
Herman. He this is what he does every day is he figures out customers.
Right.
He figures them out
Good
every
job,
day.
Tom.
Nicole says preach. We got hashtag preach. We got hashtag truth. We got hashtag drop the mic today. So Whitney says, so true, Kris, fight or don't be left behind. Man, guys, all right. Let's wind down on this. Kris, my last question. I know people have a hard stop here at the bottom of the hour. Oh my God, this was so good. Thank you for being such. I'm salivating over the configurator. Thank you, Nicole, for your comments. Thank you, everybody. Okay, Kris, my last question for you today. You shared, we talked grandma Milwaukee, grandma up north, your teammates, coaches in the military, all these great things, your cohorts, your teammates at GenAlpha. Coming into 23, who is your inspiration coming into the new year? Who or what is your inspiration coming into the new year?
Ooh, you're putting me on the spot. I'm actually not sure I thought about that question, but give me a moment. We are going to go into overtime because I'm going to have to think about this one.
You got an eternity.
Well, I will say my inspiration right now is my wife.
Nice.
If you haven't had a chance to meet my wife, Polly, so I know some of you that know me very well know that we have a farm here.
Yeah.
It's 2 girls and a farm, and we do a lot of stuff here, but she's a personal chef, and she's been keeping that side of the business going, and it's amazing. And, when you think about being innovative and creative, when you do that with food, it gets you really excited about how you can add some sauce or some spice or some sweetness to the things that you're doing in the world that we impact every day. And I get to witness her doing that every day. So I'm going to go with she's my inspiration right now, and very proud to, bring the ideas and vision that she has for some of the other things we're working on into what I get to do over here at GenAlpha.
Well, Kris, that's a perfect way to wrap up, because what 2 great words for you? I threw out like integrity, awesome, all these other things, but now I'm thinking saucy and spicy. Saucy and spicy, Kris Harrington. So guys, everybody, I would welcome you, invite you. How about out of your seats? Huge round of applause.
Thank you to you guys.
Kris Harrington. God, Kris, you know what? Our love, our respect, our admiration for you, off the charts. You never cease to amaze. Thank you. I know you are super busy. Thank you for taking time to share your passion, your expertise, your experience, all of the above with our crowd. Everybody out there today, God bless you. Thank you. I can't tell you how much Damon and I appreciate each and every single one of you that join us. If you're catching us on replay or you join us live, man, we're just so honored and blessed to hang out with just incredible, gifted people that are passionate about making manufacturing great. Kris, thank you. We wish you and Polly, is that you said your wife is Polly?
Yes.
We wish you guys an amazing, wonderful, happy holiday, Merry Christmas, New Year. Boy, we are super excited to see what 23 beholds us. Damon, man, are we fortunate, dude. So let's close it out.
All right. Well, I have to say thank you to you guys. It was a pleasure to be here. Always thank you. Have a wonderful holiday season with your families as well. And please help us feed America. I would love to hear from some people after this. That was really the inspiration for this show today. I'm glad I got to share my story, but really I want to end on making sure that we get a chance to feed America through this process as well. So thank you.
Awesome. That's all I can say. I just want to say thank you to everyone that shows up and listens to us, listens to our guests. Kris, I'm floored every time I see the GenAlpha solution. I learn more. I love it more. And I think your mission, the saga you're creating and your passion and behind it we have to get manufacturers moving this direction. Otherwise, they're going to fall to the wayside. And we don't want that, because as Nicole Donnelly says, small business is the heart of America, and we need to keep it that way.
Yeah.
So with that, everyone, have a great weekend. We're getting ready for Christmas here, people. It's getting close. If you don't have your gifts, I'm probably Dan Bigger. I remember him saying something about maybe being a last-minute shopper. Don't be. Get your stuff ready. We'll be back again next week. Thanks for being here, everyone.
See you
Thank you, guys.